So I am Kathy Benner, and this is Fit as a Fiddle. And tonight we're talking with Laura Bender, and she has some great information for us. And so we're just going to start right from the top, Laura, and give us a little bit of your backstory and how you managed to actually be where you are today.
Well, thank you for asking, Kathy. Yeah, hi, everybody. I feel so happy and blessed to be here today. As Kathy said, I'm Laura Bender, and um, I brought the profession of personal training to the state of Montana in 1992, and there were no other personal trainers in my state before that. And so what happened was my husband and I moved here in 1982 so that I could go to graduate school in speech pathology. And we were just newlyweds. And I just couldn't do it. I think I made a couple of years in graduate school, ended up getting a degree in teaching argumentation, debate in the high school level, and also as a special ed teacher. And it was the 1980s, right? It was early 80s, and aerobics had just hit America. I think my first thing that I bought was Jane Fonda's album. You guys remember that?
I do.
Yeah, right? I weighed
Yeah.
like 180 pounds, and I wanted to feel the burn. So that's how I started. And we had a health club here, and I joined it because my husband was student teaching on a reservation here in Montana, and I was lonely and fat, and so I thought, well, I got two choices. I could have an affair, or I can I could get in shape. And I was too damn fat to have an affair, so I thought, well, I'll get in shape. And so so that's what happened. I joined the health club, and back in those days, if you look good in a leotard or you looked okay and you kissed the boss's ass, you got a job. And I did. So I got a job teaching aerobics. So that's how I started.
And Dora just posted, she said we were all rocking shimmering tights and one-piece suits and leg warmers. Remember the leg warmers? Now, is that the 70s or was that still the 80s?
That was the late 70s, early 80s.
Oh yeah, I had
you remember that, Andora? And you guys remember Gilda Marks, right?
Yeah.
My mother-in-law was friends with her, and I actually met her in DC. But anyway, long short, I couldn't find a job as a special ed teacher, so I started teaching aerobics, and I need to make some money. And there was this new thing called personal training, and I lived in my town at that time had a population of about 60,000, and everybody was, is very conservative town during that time period. No one knew what personal training was. I mean, it was already in America. It was in LA. It was in New York. It originated in LA. It was from, in Texas, DC, all these places, but not in my town. So I thought, I'm going to bring that here. And that's what I did. I started driving from home to home out of my van, opened up the yellow pages, just started cold calling people I thought could pay 15 bucks an hour, which was typically, accountants or lawyers. And so that's what I did. My goal was I'm going to call 20 people a week. My butt's not going to leave my chair till I have, 5 meetings. And my goal was to have 2 new clients a week. And so that's what I did. I just started building my house on a strong foundation. And my studio opened up. And I'll never forget, my client handed me a phone, one of those message phones. You guys remember that? And she said, okay, here you go. You're now in business. So I came down here. I had $2,000 that I'd earned going from home to home. My rent was 500 bucks. I said, hey, you know what? I can pay my rent for 4 months. I got 10 clients. I'm good to go. So that's how it started. Fast forward to 2000. I was named as one of the top female entrepreneurs in the state of Montana. I'm known as a history maker for the fitness industry here. And, I grew my business on one client at a time. And I hired a really good looking guy. So I had a great hook. and all the women wanted to work out with this really handsome guy. And I think I hired him for like 3 hours a week because I couldn't afford to have him here longer, but I could pound the payment. Well, I got him working, right? So that's how I started. 2015, well, about 2000, I pivoted into mind body fitness, studied with Deepak Chopra, became a master meditation teacher, yoga teacher, studied with David G, got another certification teaching meditation, then brought that into my practice. So that's when my practice evolved. Recession hit, fired all my personal trainers, and I doubled my fees because everybody else was freaking out and giving away law free. You remember that? So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to charge more. That's what I did. It was really scary.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Now, again, marketing is marketing, and I can definitely relate. I came from the salon industry background for 25 years, right before my retirement, and I remember there. It was the same way. We thought if we had 10 repeat clients, we were in pretty good shape to get started, and some of the girls were ready to quit their regular day jobs and go full time into the salon, which I did as well. And again, when things got tough, we doubled our prices, and not maybe doubled, but we raised our prices. And what that did is that allowed the ones that no longer wanted to, to be a part of our membership or whatever move on, and then we had some really good solid clients that we could really build from. So I get it, and that's a perfect solution, but not everybody is brave enough to do it, and you were.
Oh, so true. And I guess the rest of the story, because I'm 63 now, was then gosh, I had saved my daughter. Our daughter's off to college. My husband, Ken, and I, we've always had, maybe some of you have a relationship like that. It's like a French film. We have this intimate, incredible relationship, and then we're arguing. It's just, there's no gray, right? And so
yeah.
I was ready. I'd save my money. I started my career. I shoved money into pillowcases, and he was working in the stock market, making money, and he was just rocking it. I mean, he took $800,000 and turned it into $6 million.
Yeah.
And I gave him $300,000 that I earned in my business over a 10-year period, and he turned it into 400. And I was ready to go. I was ready for my plan B. Although I don't know if you guys have ever had the experience of kind of a half-assed plan B. Well, that was me. I didn't really know how this was going to happen.
So what was your plan B? What was it?
Well, it was to leave him. It was like, okay, because I've had it, right? I've had it with this addiction in the stock market. It was bad, right? And this was really bad. I couldn't go anywhere without him leaving me at the table for freaking ever. I don't know if you guys have that experience, but it was terrible. All right, so I had my plan B, I thought. So I walk in the door, and he's sitting in the middle of our living room, and he was bawling like a baby. And I said, oh my God, what's going on? Good job, Andorra. I said, oh my God, what's going on? And he said, Laura, I lost everything we had today in the stock market.
Wow.
That was 2015. That was a moment that I grabbed my futon, threw it in my Honda Fit, drove into my personal training studio, rolled it out on the floor, drank a bottle of wine, and I had enough clothes for a week, and I said, that's it, I'm leaving him. Well, the rest of the story is, next day I went upstairs. I said, okay, I'm not coming back to you until you go to therapy, until we figure out this problem we're having here. All right. And I may not come back to you. And so then I go back down, and I realized that it didn't matter whether I went back to him or not, Kathy, because you know what? There was a hole inside of me no man was going to fill.
Mm-hmm.
And in that day, That was a big deal, right? Have you ever
Yeah.
had that aha moment, everybody, where you're like,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
it doesn't matter. And that was the moment that I picked up all my stuff. I went home. He went to counseling. We went to counseling. And I said to myself on that day, I'm in trouble. I'm 55. I got to make some money. My mom outlived her money. And I took a front row seat, and it was powerful. It was huge and painful. So luckily I'd stuffed $100,000 in the bank. And that was when I realized that I wasn't booked every hour because I was an amazing personal trainer. I was booked every hour because I'm an amazing coach. And that's when I started studying even deeper and going deeper into being a mindset coach and healing myself and healing my inner child wounds, and also healing my relationship in my marriage. So now, here I am, 2018, I became a relationship mindset coach that specializes in dream builder. And Ken and I were able to recover our marriage. And now I coach high achieving women all over the world with relationship mindset coaching. So that's what I do now. I bring all this stuff. I have
Isn't it
all these.
wonderful though? It's as we go through our life, we do collect a lot of lessons along the way. And I think we all build one lesson on another, and we can use those in our future. And I've realized myself that as I grow into the person that I want to be, that I am changing from where I was. We sometimes, especially in our 20s, we think we have it all figured out, and I think today, and I'm a little older than you, Laura, but today, we start to realize, that we don't know what we don't know, and I think we're more willing to receive some of those lessons. But that is an amazing story. I love that. So, what was your big aha moment that that you didn't have it all figured out? Was there a particular, what was it, that moment there in your studio when you decided to do plan B? Was that your aha moment, or was there something that happened that you can pinpoint more directly?
Thanks for asking. I had a lot of aha moments in my relationship with myself and with my husband and in my business. First of all, I created a persona around who I was. And again, I'm pretty well known, kind of famous in my state. And I created this persona, this really fit woman who, I had it all figured out, right? And I created my business, and I was, still am making 6 figures a year. And the truth is that wasn't who I am at all. I have awards all over my walls. I've got all this stuff on my walls, and I did not want to go home. And so I created this business, and I kept achieving so I could feel loved. And the moment that I realized the truth was the moment that, I was taken to my knees emotionally. And that was one of several times that I've been taken to my knees in learning about myself. And so I don't think there was ever one particular aha moment, because I think every moment is an opportunity for change.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we never have it figured out because we're breathing. But what I'll say is that what I know for sure is that who I am is far greater than what I have on my walls. And, the universe really taught me a lot. And I learned the hard way so I could help other women, know how to set their boundaries, stand in their truth, stand in their power, and really have the relationship that's worthy of them with themselves and with the man they love. With that, also, since we're talking about fit as a fiddle, during the pandemic, because I'm still very athletic. I still have a handful of women I serve as a mind body fitness trainer. I got certified as an integrative health coach. And then it was pretty easy for me, right? Because I
Okay.
have lots of stuff in that area. And then I got certified in specializing in hormone health for women over 50 because I wanted more. I wanted to bring that into my coaching program also, Kathy. So I think that finally figuring something out, no, we never figure it out. And there was never one aha moment. Every day is kind of an aha moment, right? So
tell us, what is integrative health? Explain what that actually is.
oh, thank you that's a good question. So integrative health is based on two things. There's primary food and there's secondary food, okay? So primary food is our emotional well-being, our relationship with our spirituality, with our creativity, our relationship with money, our relationship with our partners, with our artistic abilities, with the things that we love. And then the secondary food is what we put inside of us, what crosses our lips, our exercise, that kind of thing. So when we talk about integrative health, we're talking about, from the inside out, because these are the tools for real change, real growth, and real evolution. And what I love about, integration is it's profoundly different, everyone, isn't it, from the 80s, when we all started out with our Jane Fonda leg warmers and our little bands, right? Is that was all outside in. And did you guys remember like the diets and things that came along?
Yeah. Oh,
we
yeah.
had a high carbohydrate diet. I'm like, and now it's like a high protein diet. And then Atkins died of a heart attack. I mean,
I know.
So
I know.
why? I mean, why? You can have super healthy people that are eating really clean and really healthy, and they have really poor health because their emotional food, their emotional needs aren't being met. Okay, so that's
Okay.
really, I
I just had an aha moment. I love that. I love that. Yes, yes. That's very interesting. When you look around your industry, what is it that breaks your heart about your industry that you're in?
okay, so I've been in a few industries. So you mean the coaching industry?
Or the health in general, the health industry, whether it be mental, physical, just being with your practice.
Okay, so I would say the one thing that breaks my heart in my coaching industry is women who cannot deeply explain their feelings. When I ask a woman, what does that feel like? We have a lot of smoke screens because we don't know what we're really feeling. And that's really sad, because then we have no idea what authentic self is, what authentic joy is, what authentic success is. And we don't speak our feelings because we don't know what they are. And so that to me is it's a shame. In the fitness industry, what I think is a huge shame is that, unfortunately, there's still this dysfunctional disconnect about what we look like, and there's body image issues for us as women. And, I think that in our 50s, 60s, 70s, we're at our most beautiful and our most empowering time. And instead, we don't celebrate this. The one thing we want to bring more into our diet is oil, really healthy, delicious oils. And what I see so many women doing is depleting themselves like we did in our 20s. And we end up even looking more dried up, and feeling more like crap and not asking for more. So yeah, I think that that's my feeling. Yeah.
So when you're talking about where, as women, we don't express our feelings or our emotions because we haven't identified them ourselves, how might you lead one of your clients through something like that to where they can express? What do you give them some sort of a program to go through? Do you give, how do you lead them through that?
Oh, hug, 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 virtual hug. Okay, there's no program, right? Well, yeah, I've got programs, but what I want to say is a woman has to feel safe. A woman has to be seen. A woman has to feel heard. A woman has to feel supported and loved. So first, I hold space for that woman. Secondly, I ask her a lot of questions, and I do not give her the answers. And thirdly, we create her life work together
Okay.
because she knows who she is. But taking that deep dive into what does that feel like, you know, it's really hard. Here I am, 63 years old. You know, the hardest thing for me to say and to admit out loud, I'm sad. That was hard for me just to say it out
Say
loud.
that.
Yeah, because I'm a high achiever. To say out loud to somebody I love, authentically, I'm sad. Or to say authentically, I'm lonely. Or to say authentically, you know, I feel left out. So owning our emotions, for most of us, we have to feel safe. And I think that's part of my zone of genius as a master coach, is that I hold space with love and support, but then I ask real questions that ask you to dive into your genius, into the wise woman inside of you. And then together we create your life work and your action steps that will get you from point A to point B, whatever that is for you. Everyone is different. It's an integrative journey, right, everybody?
I love that. I love that. So when it comes to the actual physical part of the health, which of course it's all tied together, but when it comes to diet, and again, we've all seen the fad diets, and Dora posted that she used to live on coffee, water, and diet pills. And that's a dangerous combination. But how do you guide your clients through to just having a better, healthier life when it comes to their diets?
Well, first of all, I have to see what their diet looks like.
Mhm.
And again, that's got to be held in a place of trust. It's the same thing. It's not different. What does your diet look like? And then, you know, what happens is the older we get, our gut biome changes. So you might have noticed this, the foods you could eat maybe in your 20s, you can't
Mhm.
eat them anymore. Maybe you're also finding, because of this time in our lives, we're a little bit more delicate. Our emotions are more delicate. The way that we process stress is more delicate. So, you know, knowing exactly what's going on with you. Integrative health is about individuality, and individuality is queen. So there's no such thing as a one size fits all. You know, like
Okay.
I can't eat cooked broccoli anymore. I could eat that when I was in my 20s and 30s. So everyone is different. But what I will say is I'm a really big fan of anti-inflammatory eating. The Mediterranean diet, you know, is really wonderful because of the delicious olive oils. But I'm also a really big fan in us paying attention to what we feel after we eat something. And mindfully eating is the key, everyone, to perfect health, is sitting with no devices, no nothing. You're not driving your car. You're not on your laptop. You're not even thinking about your next deal. It's sitting and tasting your food. And in that place of masticating your food, that is really where your body begins to really healthfully digest that food, and you're actually tasting it. I wondered so often how many of us really taste our food and know what a delicious meal is. So that would be in the realm of diet. In the realm of exercise, I will say every woman over 50 needs to lift weights, needs to be strong. We need to strengthen our bones. Walking is great, but it's not enough. It is not enough. And lifting weights.
Okay, good to know. Now, how much time do you recommend, or is it, I'm sure that that's an individual coaching as well as how much time, but if you could average out the time, how often should we be working out?
Every day.
Okay, and how long every day?
I think that every day you need to be moving throughout your day at different periods. I think you want to be lifting weights at least twice a week to strengthen your bones. I definitely think every single person should have some sort of yoga program, whether it's a 10-minute morning warm-up, sun salutations, or it's a full out hour, couple days a week. But every day we want to be moving and grooving. Put music on, dance in your kitchen, you know, get the heck away from your computer, get off your butt, you know. I think that that's the key. And I don't think we can put a time limit on this, but I will say that we've got to keep strong, stay strong. You know, if you can look at, you know, your elders, the people that we see, our moms, you know, the people that we watch degenerating, that doesn't have to be us. You know, hey, it's true. We might be at 60 and older, and some of us might be 40 and older. But the truth is that we don't have to drink that Kool-Aid. We don't. So I don't think that you can put a time stamp on it. But I will tell you,
if you're saying every day we need to be doing it.
Every day. And you want to vary it. You don't want the same thing every day. Don't eat the same breakfast. Do not eat the same breakfast every day. Do not follow the same route every day. This is called open mindset. It's open body. Okay. Yeah, you got a schedule. Schedule you into your schedule. You would, if you've got clients, you guys, if you've got people that are coming to rent your properties, you show up for them, you meet them, you put them in your schedule. Maybe they pop up. Put yourself in your schedule and show up for you. Show up for you.
I love that.
You'd show up for them every time. Why not show? I mean, you're no different. Show up for you too.
Yeah. Sometimes we don't even get on the list, let alone at the top of the list.
That's right. That's right. Well, see, to me, that's the problem. That's what I would say. I would say that is a problem, because you know what? You cannot take it with you. And if you don't have this great vehicle to go out and have fun with the financial freedom and wealth that you are creating, why do it?
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. We talked about what breaks your heart. What makes you mad? What do you see that makes you mad?
Women who do not dive into their dreams and go for what the creator put them here to do, be and create. Women that pull themselves at the back of the bus. Women that don't set their boundaries with steadfast determination and power. You know, there is a way to, I don't know if you guys are, I'm sure some of you know this, but there's a way to win arguments, especially in your marriage and in your relationships, where you both win. Right? And right. And there's a way for us to set our boundaries and really own it. So what makes me mad is, I think, what made me mad in the 70s. And what's made me mad through my whole career, it's the reason why I handed a woman a dumbbell in 1992. Was this like, find your power, sister, find your power, speak your truth. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's great. What is the overarching problem that you're trying to solve with all of your programs, your coaching, your passion, if you will? What is the overarching message there?
Well, I just shared it with you. The overarching message is it's time for women we are worthy of finding our power and making a bigger ripple in the world. And whatever that means for you. Okay. So, before, when I was not quite as skilled, it was a dumbbell, it was diet, it was exercise. Now, fast forward 27 years, I'm a lot more skilled, and it's setting your boundaries, writing your vision for the life that you would love to do, to be, and create. Write your 3-year vision, move those paradigms out of your way, up your deserve. Don't lean into lack, lean into abundance. Use fear as a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block. Create your partners in believing. Stand in your intuition and trust the outcome.
I'm going to have to replay this and write all that down. I love all that. and it just flows out of you.
But that's my mission. I've got a shelf life, right? I'm 63. I'm getting ready to, I'm planning a summit February 14th. It's an international summit. And my intention is to touch as many women as I can in the next 30 years to find their power and to make a bigger ripple in the world.
So now this summit is a summit that you're putting on?
Yes.
Okay, tell us about that.
Well, I don't know yet. Okay. It's in the amoeba stage. So I'm just trying to come up with some names, and I'm looking for speakers. So I don't know yet.
Okay, I'm going to scroll to the top of our chat box. I put in our chat box a link where Laura is giving away a freebie, and there is the link right there in the chat box. Now, I'm going to actually post this when we post the replay of this. I'll post this information as well. But also there is Laura's email and also Laura's website, and then right under that I put my website and my email as well if anybody wants to connect. But Andorra already knows us, so again, when I post that, where I have an actual academy where I save all of our replays for Fit as a Fiddle, and I will post your information there as well. So we have a lot of folks that come back and listen to the replay, and so they'll get that information. But keep us posted about the summit. I'm very excited about that for you. What are some of the other steps that you might bring some of your clients through that aren't quite ready to maybe jump in, to a full-fledged coaching with you? Are there some other things that folks can connect with you kind of early on?
You guys can always schedule a one and done with me. I do a one session.
Okay.
It's kind of a one and done. It's like $250. You get a hold of me. We'll do a little one and done. I'll help you write your plan for, self-care, diet, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one. The other is I've got freebies. You can check that out. Also, the other piece is, feel free just to get a hold of me and schedule an appointment. We can talk. I generally invite women to coach with me. So I like to see if we're a good fit before we even dive into anything. But I like the one and done. It makes me really happy. And I get to send you out, meditations and daily affirmations, which reminds me, I forgot to send out a daily affirmation today. I have to do that. Voxer walkie-talkie communication. Do a little prescription for you for your fitness. Yeah, I like that. Makes me happy, and I get to meet some more amazing, incredible women.
Well, we've talked a lot about their the way women think and the what they eat and their their relationships. But how about let's discuss a little bit, what does it mean when you talk about the dreams? Tell us about that.
What does a dream mean?
You have some a part of your is it your website is
Yeah.
yeah. So what is that connection with dreams?
The connection with dreams is, did you know, and you probably remember when you were a little tiny girl, you knew that you were put on this earth for a reason. And you knew that, you felt it, and you were there. That was your dream, your vision. And you knew from the time that you were brought into this earth plane by the Creator that you had a job. And that's exactly what a dream is. A dream is to help you clearly identify what you were put here to do, to be, and to create. And when you ask people, what is your dream? 89%, maybe 99%, maybe 90% of most people can't answer that because we're so used to living in a place of circumstances, paying our bills, making sure that we're secure, being human doings instead of human beings. But when we sit and we take a deeper dive, that's where we dive into our dreams and visions. And that's really what the law of attraction is all about. And it's really powerful. And I've really seen this in action with so many women. So I guess that's really what created Bodies by Bender. My first business, my personal training business, was my dream and vision. Yeah, what I forgot was, along with that also was my dream and vision of having a man that loved me and that I could love myself too. So there you go.
So then you created the website called Dreams by Bender, and it talks about some of your qualifications there. So as a matter of fact, when I was looking at your website, not only can folks connect right on Laura's website, you can put in your name and your email and your phone number and get a consultation. But her main header says, stop wishing you will one day become the woman you want to be, wake up and be her, join me today. So I love that. And then there is the information about you being a transformation mindset coach. And you talk on your website about a 12-week program. Can you tell us a little bit about that program on a transformational mindset?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my 12-week program is based on Mary Morrissey's work, which is Dream Builder. It's a law of attraction and Bob Proctor. And so we spend a couple of weeks creating the blueprint of your vision of where you see yourself in 3 years. And then we spend about 5 to 6 weeks getting, really identifying the paradigms, the subconscious beliefs that are keeping you in a holding pattern. And we bust through those. So you get a chance to do some life work around that. Then we dive into how do you listen to your intuition and improve, increase your dream, accelerate into your vision. And then we spend a couple of weeks in masterminding and, really being into your great dream and vision. So it's blueprint. So first we do the blueprint, then we bridge with kicking paradigms out of the way, and then we build. So it's a 3B process. Yep.
I love it. I love it. Wow. Lots of great programming. And then of course your integrative health coaching, where you talk about health and fitness. And I'm sure that's where you get into some diet and, and all of us that can't seem to keep that last 10 pounds off.
Yeah. And then I have a program called the Transform Method. And that's a really a deeper dive kind of program. It's based on really recognizing what we gave up along the way. Okay, recognize what we gave up, who we were in our, in our lives, what we gave up all along the way to become the person we are now. And then we actually, we kind of move into ourselves. We
You have to do that. You have to do that inner work.
Yeah, we go inside, and that's the next piece. And then we re-engage. So in our world, in our relationships. So yeah, so it's more of a transformative process that's based on communication and understanding the male brain, and all kinds of things go with this program. So
Okay. Okay. And then, of course, not last on your list is meditation. Tell us about that.
yeah, that's
Powerful.
that's my thing, right? So I'm a master meditation teacher. I teach primordial sound meditation. And so if you give me your place of birth, time of birth, and date of birth, I can give you your birth mantra. And this is what we use when we meditate. Mantra in Sanskrit means mind vehicle. So you'll learn the history of meditation, where this particular type of meditation comes from, what it's for, why we meditate. Actually, in our country, we meditate to improve our health, to improve our minds. And then also, as a meditation coach, you're going to be learning a lot of the teachings of Deepak Chopra, because that's my teacher. And you'll be learning teachings from also David G., who's my other teacher.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then you indicate that you work with highly motivated women to find a life that's in harmony with their purpose. And of course, that again, I'm sure requires a lot of inner work and those women working through a lot of those issues. So then you do have a complimentary first session.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I love that. So visit Laura's website, dreamsbybender.com. I put that in the chat so that everyone can see that. And gosh, I've learned so much. I just want to hang out with you.
Well, thank you, Kathy. I think one more thing I forgot to share. I just created a new program.
Okay. Okay.
It's called Healing Trauma Through the Chakras. And it's an 8-week coaching program where you're going to actually learn and really study the chakra system, which is the energetic system of our body. And those of you that are familiar with Vedic wisdom and with yoga, you know that there's 7 chakras in our body, and they're all on the spine. So we have the first, which is the root, the tailbone, the sexual area, right? And this is called the Savistana. The Manipura, which is, around our solar plexus, the Anahata, our heart, the Ajna, which is, this is the Vishuddha, which is our throat chakra, the Ajna, which is right here, and then the Sahasrara, which is the top of the head. So basically, this is, the energy of our body, the healing energy inside of us. And in my Healing Trauma Through the Chakras, you learn about the positive archetypes and the negative archetypes that reside in each of these areas, how they play out in your health, your emotions, and your ability to communicate. And you also have vitality prescriptions that go with each of these areas that are going to help enliven your health, your diet, and your exercise. So it's a meditation, energy and healing program.
Oh, and it's an 8-week program.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. And can anyone start at any time? Is it one-on-one or is it a group program? How does that work?
No, it's one-on-one.
One-on-one. Okay.
Yep. So
okay.
I don't teach a lot of group programs because I think it gets back to, that I'm a personal trainer. Is that I like working with individual. So what's happening with you individually?
Okay.
Because
okay.
what happens, you lose a lot with group programs. It's not, it's not as intensive, and I don't see as greater results. Because I like to work with high achievers, right? And the reason is because high achievers are moving and grooving and getting it done. And I want my clients to, be successful.
You want to
So,
see it, you want to see movement in their plan, whatever they're trying to accomplish.
yeah, and I say to you, Kathy, the women that coach me with me don't try anything. There's no try. Try is a lie.
Mm-hmm. They just do it.
They do it because they're ready.
Yeah.
And we don't mess around, right, Kathy? We are not women that mess around. We go for what we want.
And I understand what you mean about the group too, because sometimes in a group, I find that it's easy to kind of hide in a group. You can just maybe not always be the one that volunteers or steps up or says, yes, I'm ready to do that. And, and then by then the session is over and they just were able to kind of hide in the shadows as other folks came forward. And then I look for those gals because I can tell after 2 or 3 sessions if they're not coming forward. They're just kind of hiding in the group.
Well,
now I'm not saying that they're not getting anything out of it, but they're not moving the needle as quickly as they could because they're taking kind of a back. It's the same. It's the folks that sit in the back row when they go to a conference.
yeah, and I have to say that, and this, I think sometimes, Kathy, this has been a problem for me in my career because my husband, he mentions this to me, but this is how I'm wired. It's really important to me that the women that I serve are successful. And it's really important to me that I get to really watch them move themselves in a way that feels really good to them and really helps them to, have everything they want, all the wonderful things. And as a teacher, I have to tell you, I don't feel good about myself when I go home and I've taught a group and I have people that aren't making progress or aren't participating. I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
I've worked so many years that, it doesn't bring me any joy, and I don't want to just take people's money. I don't. It just does not make me happy. It's no way for me to live. I am a heart-centered coach, and I really believe in the women I serve.
It definitely shows. Laura, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed our conversation. I want to open it up for questions. And Dora, I see that you're still there. Do you have some questions for Laura?
Sure. Yes. I didn't see her contact information in the chat. Did you already put it in there?
It's at the very beginning. If you scroll clear to the top of the chat, her information is there. And you can screen print it or do the 3 little dots there next to where it says type your message, and you can save the chat. But when I save it over in the Kathy Benner International Academy, I will also save her contact information there.
I think for me, I don't know why, so when I, just as an FYI, so all it's showing is just my chat only, nothing else.
Oh, when you look, see where it says to everyone, maybe?
Yes. I'm looking at send to everyone, and all I see is just what I've put in the chat.
Huh. Well, I will copy it again and see if it shows up.
Okay. But no, the questions I had, so I picked up on the fact, to do some yoga, I like that. The walking, I understand that's not enough. And I try to do weights, but what do you recommend as far as weights? Are you thinking just anything sufficient below or 10 pounds and above, or what are you thinking?
So it depends on what you're doing. And Dora, when we're talking about, I like, to be really honest with you, I like to focus on large muscles, which would be lunges, squats, working on your abs, your back. And I would say that with assistance, like if you have a professional that's helping you, I would say you really want to, push like some pretty good weight. especially when we talk about the larger muscles. So I would say, it's hard to say because I don't know you and I'd have to see where your fitness level is. But I would say that you want to focus on large muscles, and, you want to focus on some pretty good weight. So if that's kind of a hard question to answer, because unless I see a person and know, what their strength is of fitness evaluation, I couldn't tell you. But what I will say with the small muscles, like shoulders, biceps, triceps, shoulders, you never want to go over 8 pounds. And that's a pretty good amount of weight for a woman. Now I'm a bodybuilder, so I do shoulders with 15s. Don't do that.
Yeah. No, well, you know what I'm noticing? So I'm 56, and what I'm noticing is if I I must have at one point in time in my life, earlier life, like laid a lot on my right or left side. Well, then that shoulder hurts. So I've now taken to laying on my back, and don't laugh because I think it helps with wrinkles. If you lay on your back, you're not going to get the face things. So I oftentimes now will lay on my back just because that shoulder hurts. But I'm also wondering, I've heard people have that frozen shoulder. I definitely do not want to do surgery. I'm kind of anti-surgery. So I'm trying to just do some exercises that will help that tension in the rotator cuff, the bicep, the shoulder, all that. So what do you recommend for that? Because I am lifting weights now, and I also do like this body band where I don't know if you've seen it. It's going to really date me here, but it's Marie Osmond's. And it's awesome because you can take it with when you pack.
Yeah.
And it's like this bar. Have you seen it? It's like this, it's called the body bar. And I love it because I can do like overhead, and I can change the resistance on it based on how far I put my feet apart to cause that resistance, or I can do, whatever. So I'm trying to do that, but I also have in my basement, what do we call this? A Bowflex. And I can do 50 pounds, like pull downs and so forth. I'm trying to baby that shoulder.
Okay, here's what I would suggest. First of all, a little side note to the body bar. The body bar was actually created here in America in the 80s by a woman who, it was hawked by a lady called Heidi, and they had Heidi's frozen yogurt. And she was a big advocate of this body bar. And there was one called the hard body bar too. And actually, I was a national aerobics champion, used to do floor routines on cruise ships with the body bar.
Oh, that would have been my dream job. Oh my God, that would have been my dream job.
Now that you're bringing up this idea with your shoulder, what I want to say to you is that really smart to go to physical therapy with a frozen shoulder, and it's not going to be fun. It's not going to feel good. They'll get in there and they'll break up the scar tissue and what's keeping it frozen and move it around. So if it's truly a diagnosed frozen shoulder, you are not going to be able to do anything with this with weights on your own. You're going to want to go to a physical therapist and have them work on what's happening with your scapula, this muscle back here, and what's happening with the whole thing. So that would be my thought. I mean, I'm not a physical therapist. I have worked a lot with physical therapists. I am a functional reconditioning specialist, or in my life before. But I will say, yeah, you really you want to have that looked at and worked on with a physical therapist if you can.
Okay, and I don't know for sure that it's a frozen shoulder. It will ache like a toothache just when I'm laying flat, it'll kind of ache, but I still can lift and carry things. Like today I was doing like carpet rolls and throwing them down the steps outside.
He's rehabbing a house right now, Laura.
Yeah.
You may have a slightly torn rotator cuff. You could have tendonitis. What you're kind of describing to me sounds like bursitis, because there's a bursa in your shoulder joint, and based on what you're doing right now, this could be an overuse injury. When I hear people say to me, laying on my back in that position, it feels like a toothache. that would
Yes.
say to me bursitis. So what
Okay.
I would recommend is no weights right now. I'd recommend icing it. I would recommend, no offense, Andorra, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. But I would say you gotta stop it for a while until it
Uh,
calms down for you.
yeah, I've been
Ouch.
using like icy, not icy hot, but what's the one called BioFreeze? You know,
Biofree, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
freeze
sometimes,
is good stuff.
oh, isn't it though? Like, okay, I'm like, I think that's like my new perfume because
Me too. Yeah. When I was an athlete, that was I used to race bicycles and I lived, this was my perfume too.
so I'm using the BioFreeze, but I do still try to lift weights, like because it doesn't seem to hurt when I'm lifting the weights. It's only when I'm laying flat at night, just when I'm going to bed, it'll start aching like at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll be like, oh, and I hate to take ibuprofen every day because then that's not good for your stomach, right? So,
Right.
but
Try to stay
anyway,
off your side.
I know, but yeah, I try to, it just aches more if I lay on that side or if I go to the left side. But okay, so wait a minute. That body bar is called the Body Gem. And I'd be curious what you think about that. But if you're familiar with Marie Osmond, she brought it on QVC. I've had it for 5 years and I'm telling you, I love that thing. So what's your thoughts on using bands for strength training?
I think they're great. I think you do what you love.
And that one's easy to travel with.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can disassemble it. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I also have a Total Gym. I like that because that's just my own weight, and God knows that I'm pulling a lot with this weight when I'm using that Total Gym. So I'm getting a good workout on that as well. So I try to do like both. My legs are pretty strong just from all the walking. But yeah, I know that I need to keep lifting weights. I do see a decline in my strength, especially with this house this time. I'm like, oh my, like I can really feel it. And my knees too. My knees are like aching. I'm only like 5'5" and I'm probably too short for my weight. So I can't tell you my weight. So
Well, and Andorra, if you're like me, it could also be a little bit of arthritis kicking in some of those joints.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
think so.
yeah. And so, it's really hard to tell in a phone call,
Yes.
what the issues really are, but you're definitely aware, and that's the first step, is being aware.
Well, Kathy, I really want to thank you for inviting me to speak today. It's been such a blessing and great to be here. And thank you, everyone, for holding space with me and hearing my story.
I love it. I love it. And again, bodiesbybender@gmail.com is her email, and dreamsbybender.com is her website. And I will post the link for her freebie for our group today. And Laura, thank you so much. And I'll definitely stay in touch. Yes, definitely.
Thank you,
Love that you were
Kathy.
here. Thank you so much. We'll see you later.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.